This is the fourth branch of government television program. When I read the Gospel or Acts, I see that the authors don't care at all about making their message sound better, embellishing it or beautifying it. Even though they spent so much time in the great and mighty Roman Empire, most of the events of the New Testament don't take place in Athens or the great city, eternal city of Rome. No, it takes place in some villages in Palestine. I'm sure that back then people didn't accept that. They couldn't understand the point of all these little people making a big deal about peasants and Jews. That must be the same way many Ukrainians feel about some Nigerian talking about the exact same things that we've been discussing, the gospel and our current world. But today we have invited Mr. Sunday here, who is a charismatic preacher here in Ukraine, to talk about these topics. When people want to learn about something higher, they read the Bible. And when people want to get to a lower level, people watch TV. Unfortunately, we have to start with the low. What's the story with King's Capital? You know what? I really like your logic and way of thinking. So let me try and answer in the same way that you've asked me. When we look at the context of Ukrainian churches, when we look at the majority of Ukrainian prisons, 95% of the people there go and would identify themselves as Orthodox. Because the fact that they visited an Orthodox church from time to time doesn't have an influence on the decisions that they personally took. Nobody would imagine calling their bishops or their father to court just because one of their parish has ended up in jail. Well, maybe out of a sense of pity, we should encourage our fathers also to sit in jail with their parishioners. And basically, that is the same thing that has happened to me. Just because some parishioners of my church have been involved in a scheme, that is enough, according to the Ukrainian judiciary system, to make the pastor, the preacher of that church, responsible for everything. But, well, praise the Lord for everything that He is teaching us. Even so, Sunday, people from your church gave money and invested money into King's Capital. Why didn't you tell them to give money to the poor, to the dirty, and not into investments or development? Well, when a person like me, who in one city alone has 25,000 followers, there's a tiny group of those people, and that tiny group is enough to fill up a small town. Those tiny people cannot be, those tiny people can do whatever, that tiny group of people can do whatever they want. In our church, we do not only teach people to give their money to charity, we teach people the laws of finance so that they will have money to actually give to charity. So I encourage people to go into business in our church. So I encourage them to go into business so that they can improve their economic situation and fiscal situations. However, people are people anyway. Greed and the love of money are ever present, and so even though there was a failure of some of us to check the institution into a certain institution. However, it still doesn't make sense that the pastor would be accused of directly intervening in the life of each of his parishioners. I do not know the names of all my parishioners, much less where they live or how much money they have. All the things that we've done for society, the orphanages, the rehabilitation centers for alcohol and drug addicts, are suddenly forgotten because of the fact that some people in our church have associated with a company that turned out to be a pyramid scheme. However, that doesn't cross out all of the great things that my parishioners have done, nor does it make me an evil person that my parishioners have made mistakes. Hello, I am a journalist from Ukraine, and I would like to ask you some questions. There's a lot of stories that are told. There's a lot of stories that are told about the states of Nigeria where Muslim laws are being imposed and Christians are actually being persecuted. And let's not talk about King's capital vaguely. Let's just tell us, how many offerings have you collected from here? Ukrainian Ukrainian churches that have been transferred to Nigerian churches. And also at the press conference of the March Against Racism, you were not afraid to sit at the same table as sodomites and other horrible people. What about the law of the Lord that says that the righteous man does not sit in the company of sinners? How can you act that way? Well, I would not call you a journalist, but a nationalist, a very pro-Ukrainian nationalist, because I remember that you threw a banana at me at that very press conference against racism that you were talking about. And so I hope that you do not let your nationalism grow to the point of Hitler's. Yeah, I remember your face. And before you start asking questions, presenting yourself as a well-educated or decent person, just think about the decency of coming to an open press conference, taking bananas with you to throw at a person just because they are dark-skinned. Think if I acted that way with Ukrainians. That's not normal.
Thank you so much for watching our videos. Now, we need to spread this word, and we need to do it together. For that to happen, we need your help. Just 5 little steps that you could help us to spread the word. Number one thing we need you to do is to like the videos. Please go like this video right now. Number two, if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Number three, we need you to press and click on that notification bell. You see the bell? Go press on it. And number 4, we need you to go comment. Write your comment, good or bad. Just write what you feel. Number 5, share, share, share. Share on every platform. Share on Instagram. Share on Facebook. Just share and spread the word. Thank you so much.